We're right in the middle of Sherlocktober, my Sherlockians. I finished 2 books so far, A Study in Sherlock, which I reviewed last week, and The Eye of the Crow, which is what I'll be reviewing today. In addition, I've also rewatched the 2 seasons of BBC's Sherlock, which I realized I'd never actually rewatched before, so it was only my 2nd time of seeing them. Unbelievable, right? Eye of the Crow by Peacock is the first book in his series, The Boy Sherlock Holmes, and I have very mixed feelings about this book. First off, let me say that the mystery is very good. It's convoluted and very akin to the Sherlock style in how he follows leads and hunts down clues, and you begin to see this pattern develop. I also like that we see how the events that take place in this book shape him into the great detective that he will become, giving us reasons and backstory as to why he started solving crime and why he has no friends. There are several references throughout the book that foreshadow to the future, or is it the past, Holmes stories. However, it was some of these references that I did have a problem with. It's interesting because I'm usually not terribly picky about what a writer does with characters and storylines in their adaptations, because what I really want to see is how they see it. But in this case, I felt that Peacock was trying to produce a literal backstory for Sherlock Holmes, and so I took this very seriously, analyzing everything that happens and all of the characters that he encounters, trying to figure out how they mesh up with the canon. And some of them, in my opinion, just didn't, or at least didn't to my satisfaction. And most of these were characters. First off, we have Andrew C. Doyle, a rich man and a do-gooder who doesn't have a huge role in the story. I feel, of course, the uncanny similarity in name to the great detective's creator is merely a call to honor, a homage from Peacock to him, but I also wish that it had been a little more subtle. Just because the close proximity in names distracted me, it proved even more irksome when his daughter, Irene, becomes someone that Sherlock becomes attached to. Is Irene Doyle to become Irene Adler, or is it a coincidence? Either way, I feel Peacock is working in a very shallow pool of names, if not characters, and it made the tale feel incredibly restricted. There was another such character who calls himself Malefactor, and he's the leader of the gang of street boys called the Irregulars, and I haven't quite decided yet how I feel about him. On the one hand, he's a very interesting, even convoluted character. I am intrigued by him and his story, and it's entirely possible that I will read the rest of the series solely to see his development. On the other hand, there are heavy hints that this is the future Moriarty, not the least of which was a reference to him as being the young Napoleon of crime. I enjoyed his character, the best one in the book, and I loved this introduction to the Irregulars, but I hesitated at the believability of this childhood association with Sherlock. It didn't feel like there were a whole lot of new characters or new ideas, and that kind of bugged me for a prequel. We also get a look at Lestrade, future detective of Scotland Yard, and this appearance I think was well done. It's just a brief encounter, totally believable and in tune with the canon, something for Sherlockians to snicker over with fondness. I found the writing style a little dense. The pace is weighed down with heavy description, and you guys know me, I am not a big fan of inactive narrative. I found myself skimming through quite a lot of this book, and unfortunately I didn't feel that I missed anything important in doing so. Another thing about the writing is that it's told in the present tense, which is unusual, and because of its rarity, it did throw me off a couple of times. For the most part, it flows well, and kudos to Peacock for that. Eye of the Crow by Peacock gets 3.5 stars, and I'm gonna have to think about this one before I start the rest of the series, though I do have a feeling that Malefactor's story is gonna drag me back in. Thanks for watching. I'll have more Sherlocktober videos throughout the rest of the month. I would love to hear your comments and your feedback and what some of your favorite Sherlock stories are. Click the magnifying glass to subscribe.